May 14th, workout breakdown, chest day, everybody's favorite day as we know at this point. This is a cool workout. I'm excited about this. It leans strongly into the monthly emphasis. And again, I wanted to touch on that just briefly. I wrote up here, find your run rep max if needed. We haven't done this in a minute. And I don't feel like I have to write this in here, but I think a lot of people are kind of like religious to whatever's on the board. So it's here. You guys have flexibility. This workout is great in terms of, you got the whole class time. So if you do not know your 1 rep max, it's really hard to do workouts based off of percentages. And guessing just doesn't really get the job done. Now that being said, this workout's not the end-all, be-all if you don't know your percentages. I feel like I'm a little bit of a hypocrite right there. At the end of the day, you want to know your 1 rep max because you want to be able to base things off of that in order to be the most successful and progress at the most efficient rate. But some of these workouts, it's not as relevant as others. And if you're OCD, then you definitely want to know your 1 rep max. So leaning again, like I said, into the Enduro month, this workout looks really fun. So these are the types of things I know a lot of people enjoy. They love the ping-ponging back and forth, the choppiness of it, the constant movement all the time. But full transparency, like if we're working on just getting stronger, then just doing a flat bench chest press for 5 sets is far more effective than what you're seeing right here. But in terms of like capacity and aerobic foundation and all of that fun stuff, like the monthly emphasis, like this is gonna be great. So 400 meter run is going to occur after each rep count, and then you guys are slowly going to descend on your percentages as the rep count ascends. We've done workouts like this in the past. I don't think I've ever tied it to this level of running before, for chest press particularly, and I didn't give any flexibility on the run. So it's a quarter mile for everybody, which is rare. I normally give flexibility on the aerobic side, but I felt based off of how long most of these rep counts should take if you're using the right weights, 400 meter run is more than fair. I also always think to myself, I think everybody should be capable of 1 lap around a track, whether that's at a fast pace, a slow pace, a walk and a jog, whatever it is. I think you guys should feel comfortable and empowered to know that you should be able to do that, and I think you can do that. So although some people might do it in a minute, and other people, maybe not a minute, but a minute and a half, and other people may take 3 minutes, like it's completely fine. You're in your own lane, you have your blinders on, you're not worried about what everybody else is doing. Just know that the goal is a quarter mile after each rep count. Now, the rep counts, you do see flexibility, and I felt like it was important to put those in. I had to put those in. I couldn't get myself, I did just have 1 set of reps. But based off of the volatility of the percentages and people not knowing their weights and some people knowing their weights more than others, I think having some flexibility in there based off of how it's currently going and the buildup of lactic and, again, just the unknown of some people's percentages, I think having flexibility in the rep count is important. But ultimately, I did have... I started with the left-hand side, the 10, 15, 20, and 25, and then I added in the higher rep count because I think, in most cases, if people don't know their weights, which I know a lot of people don't, you're likely going to lowball yourself, and you're going to be able to do more reps than I originally had listed. So I added the extra in just for full clarity purposes for people who probably are going to lowball themselves. If you're going to use your real 80, 70, 60, and 50%, unless you're really good at chest press, I don't see a huge reason that you have to feel like you have to do the right-hand side of the rep count. So just know that going in. And I think that's the whole purpose of making these videos, is to give you guys that type of insight. The incline press, definitely with a pause. I think after this point, this level of volume and fatigue in the top left-hand side of the Metcon, pausing and working on kind of like the tactician side of the movement and focusing on engagement and firing the appropriate muscles is far more valuable than just doing a regular old incline press with no type of control, if you get what I'm saying. And then on the right-hand side, leaning into the monthly emphasis again, this is just great. Like, we want to work on our running. We want to get better at running. Like, here it is. So you guys can choose the higher or lower descending ladder as you guys go. The push-ups on the right-hand side is 100, I think at 40 push-ups. I believe you're doing 140 on the right because we don't go all the way down to 10. And then you're doing 100 push-ups on the left-hand side. And I do want to state this for the push-ups, for anybody actually still listening at this point. There's a huge drop off when people go from push-ups on their toes to push-ups to their knees. And I just want to remind people, like, it doesn't need to be no middle ground. I would much rather you, and I think all trainers can kind of confidently say this, I would much rather you do push-ups, if you can't do them regularly, you do them on a low bench or a high bench before you just immediately drop to your knees, or you do like a chest to ground push-up, or something where you're just getting more out of each individual rep than you are just going to your knees. Because for a lot of you guys, bridging and dropping to your knees, it's just never going to get you to a regular push-up. Like you slowly have to start bridging your ability and capability to as close to the regular push-up as possible. Very similar how we bridge our weights when we go from one weight class to the next. Like, we understand that we're not going to be able to make the initial jump to 5 sets of 12 at the heavier weight class, we have to start bridging and doing as many accumulating reps as possible over the course of many weeks before we can make the big jump to not having to bridge. So just remember that when you guys go to push-ups. Again, situations like these, I know a lot of people are solely focused on getting through as fast as humanly possible. Maybe they're paying attention to other people around them. Just throw all that out the window and focus on getting as much out of these push-up reps as you physically can. And in terms of the run, like, you just go. Like, this is a good opportunity. You guys could just book it. You could clock splits here. You can get a lot of data from this push-run ladder on the right-hand side.